Second straight year, the NFC East goes down to the final game of the regular season.
And Russell Wilson, he's a great athlete. He's running around, but it's what he's doing inside the pocket that's making him so effective. We'll show you what that is.
One of the great stories in the NFL this year, the Colts. 2 wins last year, 10 already this year. But the best part, on Christmas Eve, their coach, Chuck McConnell, back.
We'll talk about all of that as we get set for NFL primetime, and it starts right now.
Welcome to NFL Primetime, presented by Bud Light.
Well, here we go, and Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome into NFL Primetime. Glad you're with us. Trey Wingo here with Tim Hasselbeck and Merrill Hodge. Gentlemen, always good to be with you, even if it's on a holiday. Yes. All right, Week 16 is in the books, and the Bengals are back into the postseason for consecutive seasons. That's no small feat. Last time that happened, 1981, 1982. Ronald Reagan was your president. Bengals inclusion means the Steelers are excluded by virtue of Cincinnati's win in Pittsburgh. This was a must-win game for the Steelers, and it did not work out. Ben Roethlisberger and company trying to get on the winning streak after dropping 2 in a row. 40th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception on Sunday. Franco Harris and Frenchie Fuqua were there. First quarter, Steelers, oh boy, on their own 13. Leon Hall, pick 6 for the score. It is 7-0 Cincinnati. It's 10-0 with 1:19 left in the half, and this has been at his best. Deep to Antonio Brown, 60-yard score. Steelers down just 10-7 at the break. Okay, they tied it up at 10, and watch Troy Polamalu time this perfectly, Merrill.
Boy, this is when he's getting real rhythm. He does this better than anybody in the game.
That's unbelievable. Takes him down just like that, and Polamalu is pumped. Fourth quarter now. Steelers drive. It's 3rd and 7, and this was an issue all day. Geno Atkins and company meet at the quarterback. Ben took many hits and was feeling the effect. Again, still dealing with the aftermath of the sternoclavicular sprain. 3:22 left in the game, tied at 10. Josh Brown, boy, he was so great for all those years in Seattle and some 6 yards outdoors in Pittsburgh.
And it's not close.
It's not close. Steelers take over the 46. 1:51 left in the game. Sean Sweesum for a 53-yarder. He's won a lot of games for the Steelers this year. This would not be one of them. Make it 5 of 22 at 50-plus field goal attempts at Heinz Field. It's just not easy to do. In overtime last week, it was Ben with a costly interception against the Cowboys, and it happens again. Picked off by Reggie Nelson as he was trying to get it to Mike Wallace. Bengals take over, time running down. A.J. Green on the reception here from Andy Dalton at the 25-yard line. So with 8 seconds left, Josh Brown comes in to attempt a much more manageable 43-yarder. Ben can only watch, and the Bengals are in the postseason. The Steelers are out since he wins at 13-10.
I just think that there's some complex. There's no complex. You just got to come play and win. And this group in there has really very little history of anything.
My class, me, AJ, some of these other guys, we come in, we expect to get to the playoffs. And we were in the right position at the end of the season. You want to be in position to control your own destiny. And we were able to do that this year. And now it's time to go make a run at it.
Obviously not our day, and thus not our year. Just not enough significant plays at the moments. Sounds like a broken record, but reality, as we sit here, we accept responsibility for it.
Well, we should be if it wasn't for me. So, that's we have a lot of talent, and it showed. We got some good guys. We did things. We had a chance to win the game, and I blew it.
Well, we go next level to see that the Bengals stifled Ben on 3rd down Sunday. Keep in mind, Ben came into the game converting just under 50% of his passing 3rd downs with a league-leading QBR, but he was just 1 of 8 on passes, including throwing his first interception on 3rd down as the Bengals eliminate the Steelers. Yes, a large portion of this is on Ben, but Merrill, the Steelers had massive problems protecting him Sunday.
Trey, the offensive line works best when it's the same 5 guys and they work as one. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't have that all year. In fact, 9 times they had 5 different groups line up each and every week. So very inconsistent there. And if you look against Cincinnati Bengals, one of the best defenses in football, getting pressure in the A-gap, an area the Steelers struggled with, you could see that it affected them in this game. Right off the bat, the A-gap pressure. The Bengals are awesome at this. So we got A-gap, and where exactly is that? It's right here. Ray Malaluga, the linebacker, is threatening in the A-gap. Now that's going to force an adjustment right away by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Center's going to have to work this way, guards here, tackles out here. Now even though Malaluga is going to leave out of here, they still got to adjust. At the snap of the ball, look what the Bengals are able to create. They create a mismatch or a matchup that favors them. Geno Atkins, their best defensive tackle, against DeCastro, the rookie. They win that one-on-one matchup by threatening the A-gap, identifying, creating that one-on-one matchup, and the Steeler offensive line again struggled. It started with San Diego, went to Dallas, and the Cincinnati Bengals continue to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and we got to look at that Bengals defense and actually give them some credit, because look what they did on 3rd down to Ben Roethlisberger. You see Leon Hall, he's playing nickel, 3rd and 4. They like to get Heath Miller the ball in some of these situations, and the Bengals are going to play 2 and then the inside leverage by Leon Hall, and that's going to let Hall jump this in-breaking route. Ben's trying to play with anticipation, a predetermined throw, and you see here Leon Hall's able to step in front of Heath Miller and then return this one for a touchdown. It's a good job. It was kind of disguised because of the bunch look, but that's a big impact play for that Cincinnati defense. And then in a crucial moment of the game, basically prevent defense inside 30 seconds. A Tampa 2 look with very good depth by the secondary. Really all Ben has in terms of where to go with the football is to throw the check down. Instead he tries to create, misses the throw, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals coming up with a turnover that leads to the game-winning score. And that's 2 weeks in a row, Trey, where Ben Roethlisberger throws a pick late that costs his team the game.
All right, so that means the Bengals in, the Steelers out. What about the Indianapolis Colts? They were on the clock at this time last year. Andrew Luck and company trying to lock down that playoff spot. 4th quarter tied at 13. Boy, we've seen this before. T.Y. Hilton, 11-yard gain on 3rd and 3. That is a first down. Later in the drive, Luck hitting Reggie Wayne on the screen, who will run for 18. I say, Tim, you see this, you say what?
So that's pretty good here, trying to adjust to make the throw to the wide receiver screen here, not throwing it blind, but he's able to regather himself and get the ball out to Wayne before there's linemen down the field. That's really well done by Andrew Luck.
Okay, so just over 4 minutes to go. Again, it's tied. And here we go. Reggie Wayne one more time for a 12-yard gain. Now it's 3rd and goal. And who else are you going to go to if you're Bruce Arians and Andrew Luck? The guy that's been there all year. It is Reggie Wayne in the end for the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, and Andrew Luck does an awesome job of reading this. Because of the bunch look that's created, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to try to box this. So basically, it's going to look like a box in terms of how they defend it, with guys taking first inside and first outside breaks. Watch Andrew Luck as he eyes up that safety and reads his body language, understanding that Reggie Wayne's going to clear it. And then it's high, face mask or higher throw in the back of the end zone.
Colts win. They're in the postseason. That's good news. They got better news on Monday. Chuck Pagano back.
Circumstances, they don't make you, they reveal you. And what was revealed to me, along with the love and support of my wife and my family, was that my owner, Jim Irsay, and his family, there's not a better man in the entire National Football League. You know, when I asked for, Bruce to take over, I said, now you got to, kick some you-know-what, and you got to do great. But damn, Bruce, you had to go win 9 games. I'll try just not to get in the way and do the very best I can to get back into this. But it's really great to be back. Like a kid in a candy store, get to come and be around the guys again.
So just some 3 months after being diagnosed with leukemia, Chuck Pagano finishes his treatments, will be back on the sidelines for the regular season finale at home against the Texans. Great stuff. The Colts became just the 7th team in the common draft era, which dates back to 1967, to make the playoffs after being the team with the first overall pick in the draft. Of the 6 previous teams to do it, only the 1991 Cowboys and the 1978 Houston Oilers, or Earl Campbell, as you prefer, actually won a playoff game. Listen, it's been a great story on so many levels all year long for the Indianapolis Colts, but to see Chuck Pagano walk into that building Monday knowing he's going to be coaching this team on the sidelines, Merrill, there are very few people that can say, I know what he's been through. You are just about 10 years cancer-free, and we're ecstatic about that. What did you take away from what you saw from Chuck Pagano?
Well, listening to him talk, and talking about, circumstances, that's the first thing that struck me is, most people want to say, why? And that is wasted energy. Nothing is more wasted in life than trying to ask why me, why did it happen? Because you're never going to answer that. More importantly, ask what? What can I do and how can I go about attacking it? And that was most important. He did that. Now, doing that, the energy that he has walking back into that building, knowing that on September 25th, there was a chance, even though I think he felt like he had a good plan, his doctor said, you execute this, you will be back there. When you go and have to walk the plank of chemotherapy and go through that brutality, there are days you don't know. There are days that you understand why one stops taking chemotherapy. But to get on the other side of it, the energy that he is going to have, the perspective he will have now that he didn't have before, I think he walks in and blends beautifully with his staff. There will not be any ego with Chuck Pagano. He is going to walk in and say, B.A., how you been doing it? You got a great pulse for this team. Let me help manage it with you. Not, hey, this is my team now.
Right.
I just sense that he will do that, and this organization has learned how it's about all of us, is about team, and the perspective he's been able to share and they've been able to garner was going to help them into the playoffs.
Oh, no question. It'll be so much fun to see and watch how they do that. That's the dynamic that goes forward. But from this team, this 2-14, they were bereft of talent. They got rid of a lot of big-name guys, Dallas Clark, some guy named Manning, a lot of guys left. With that in mind, what impresses you most about the way this team has been able to get 10 wins and get into the postseason? Well,
kind of piggybacking on the message Chuck has kind of put forth for that football team is you've now seen a lot of young guys, first year in that position, whether it's Chuck Pagano, whether it's Bruce Arians as the interim head coach, Andrew Luck as a first-year player in the National Football League being the leader. But then the other guys, Vic Ballard and Fleener and Dwayne Allen and all of these different guys.
T.Y. Hilton.
Then you look at a guy like Ryan Grigson, who's a first-year general manager, and I do believe that it is the purpose, the one goal, the unselfishness that's kind of developed on this football team that's allowed these young players to assume these roles and excel in those roles, and it's why they are where they are right now.
There are a couple guys on the defensive side they did keep that are difference makers. When you think of Mathis and Freeney, they at least have a good core. Now, they're not a dominant defense by any stretch of the imagination. Teams have run on them. Kansas City Chiefs ran all over them. The Houston Texans ran on them. But the thing that they do is they make that play that oftentimes changes the game. And even though you're not a shutdown defense, that is what you must do. And they've started to do that. They transitioned to a 3-4. Guys are simply, kind of playing out of position or learning new roles, but they're getting better at it. And anytime you've got to still account for a couple guys, what you do, when you go play the Colts, you still got to say, listen, Mathis and Freeney, got to take care of them. That's a burden on your offense, and that's still harder to defend that defense. But if they continue to make those plays, that pick six here, a turnover there, that will help complement all these young guys in this playoff.
Well, it's interesting. Compare and contrast what you're talking about with the Colts to what we just heard Mike Tomlin say about the Steelers. We didn't make those plays in the moments of truth. You look at that interception by Darius Butler, a cast-off from the New England Patriots, the play at the end of the game. Whatever you want to say about the Indianapolis Colts and their deficiencies, and they have some, when push has come to shove more often than not, in the moment of truth, they found a way to make that winning play.
Robert back to pass. Here comes the blitz. Going to the corner, left corner, end zone. Caught Moss. And it's a touchdown. Redskins touchdown. And RG3 throws a strike.
Well, it was a thing of beauty for RG3 and Santana Moss, but it was an unusual day in the NFC East. We'll break it down.
College basketball triple header live on ESPN America. Merry Christmas from Hawaii. It's the Diamond Head Classic. We've got the 5th place, 3rd place, and championship games on this decisive day. It all starts tomorrow at 22:30 CET, live on ESPN America, the home court of college hoops.
This game is not fast. This game is faster. Strong is no longer strong. Fast is the new strong. Lungs are jet engines. End zones are scorched. The pocket is collapsing faster. The field just got shorter. The slow lose their lunch. The tortoise never wins. And if you're not faster, someone will let you know.
I replayed them over and over in my head.
The New York Giants have eliminated the #1 seed Green Bay Packers.
It leaves a bitter taste in your mouth.
As they come to Lambeau Field and outplay Green Bay.
In Green Bay, it's about winning championships. Just going to the playoffs is not enough.
That provides that spark for this year, getting back to where we want to go, and that's the Super Bowl.
The Giants and Eagle rivalry is something special.
That week is always a big week.
So many common things, almost too common. It makes them not like one another.
Never have, never will.
We don't like the Giants at all.
Eli, nobody loves you!
Point blank period.
They don't respect us. They ain't built like us.
That rivalry spans over decades.
That's not Michigan State down there. That's Philadelphia. City of brotherly love, but it's really a banana republic.
NFL Primetime is presented by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. And in part by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building.
Well, the Saints started Sunday still potentially in the playoff picture. The Cowboys knew if they won their last 2 games, they would be the NFC East champs. Tony Romo and company had won 5 of 6, going their 4th straight win. Second quarter, Dez Bryant, one-on-one, not stopping him. 58 yards. By the way, that was his second 58-yard touchdown reception of the game. Those were only 2 first-half touchdown catches all year. Disaster. Tied at 17 in the third. DeMarco Murray fumbles on the Cowboys' 5, recovered by Curtis Lofton. The Saints would score to go up 24-17. Go to the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 9. Still 24-17. Breeze hits Marcus Colston, and that is sloppy tackling by Charles Pepra. Colston all the way down to the Cowboys' 3-yard line. 10 grabs, 153 yards. Saints would go up by 2 scores, 31-17. Say this about the Cowboys this year. They have grit. There is no quit in them. To Dwayne Harris for the touchdown. It's a 1-possession game, 31-24. Under 2 minutes to play. 3rd and 10 Saints. Breeze rolls right, finds Colston, but he's tackled short of the down. So it's a stoppage, and the Cowboys get the ball back. The Cowboys possession, Romo to DeMarco Murray. Breaks 1 tackle, trying to atone for the fumble. Goes up the sidelines, 22 yards. The Cowboys in business in Saints territory. 50 seconds left. Romo to who else? Jason Witten. By the way, in this game, set the record for most grabs by a tight end ever. Gain of 19. It's 4th and 10. They've got to get something. And Miles Austin, who had a bad afternoon before that, unbelievable, ties it at 31. We go to OT. Cowboys got the ball first, 3 and out. And then here's the play of the day. It's over the middle to Colston. Look how long that ball was on the ground. Jimmy Graham, the hustle move of the day, finally gets there to cover it up, setting up Garrett Hartley for a 20-yard field goal attempt in OT. Cowboys fall to the Saints 34-31, but there's still hope.
We don't control our destiny, but we do control what we do.
And it starts with our preparation this week and going up there and playing our best football game next week.
That's the only reason you really play in a lot of ways, is to get your team into that position and to get in the playoffs so you can have a chance. And, you know, when you get in, anything can happen. I know that. You know, we've seen that far too many times.
Well, if you believe the phrase, technically the Cowboys do control their own destiny, because if they beat the Redskins, they will win the NFC East. But this is the third time in the last 5 seasons the Cowboys will play in a winner-take-all game for a playoff spot. In 2008, the Cowboys went to Philadelphia and got blown out, competing for a wild card spot. Last season, the Cowboys and Giants went head-to-head at MetLife for the division, and the Cowboys were outscored 21-0 in the first half. They cut it to 21-14 before losing by 17. We will see what happens Sunday night. As for the Redskins and the Eagles, RG3 back after missing that game with a grade 1 LCL sprain in that right knee. There you see the knee braced up. First quarter, and you could tell right away that, yes, he's back and playing, but not the same explosive runner we've seen right there, sort of gingerly running out of bounds.
Looked like he was eager to get out of bounds before he got hit.
Yeah, 2 carries, 4 yards on the day. As for passing, that was okay.
Yeah, and I thought they made it easy on him by doing some of this stuff, the wide receiver screen, then they go with the bubble screen to Morgan. They're able to get good blocking on the perimeter to lead him in for a score. And the other thing they did really well is they were creative with the run game. You see the bunch look up at the top. That's going to plus all the linebackers over, give them great run angles for this counter play, a new little wrinkle out of that pistol. And then you have your left tackle leading up onto a safety. That means it's well designed, folks.
Yes, it is. And sometimes there's well designed and sometimes there's just perfect execution. What a throw and what a catch.
And sometimes it's so good it's the prime Tim dime.
He is silent.
Because the E is silent. Look at this. The ball is out. It means he threw it a while ago. Moss is on the 10-yard line. That is early with anticipation. That's perfect.
Great throw and a great toe tap by Moss, 27-13. However, the Eagles rallied, trailing 27-20. By the way, Nick Foles played this entire second half with a broken hand till LaShawn McCoy, who picks up the first down. The Eagles are down to the 5-yard line. Second and goal, 8 seconds left. Foles under pressure. Under pressure. If it's not there, throw it away. Give yourself another opportunity. Instead, nothing happens. This was ruled an illegal forward pass. 10-second runoff. The Redskins hang on to win, 27-20.
We're playing the best ball that we have all year at the right time. We're rolling, and we all know that. It's been a change in our mindset since after the bye week.
Anytime you win the division, everybody knows you have a home field game in the playoffs, and we talked about that from day one. And they knew what we had to do to get there, and told them we haven't accomplished anything yet. We've got to win the division, and obviously got to get it done next week.
It just feels good to be in this position, and we've controlled our own destiny since we were 3-6, and we continue to control our destiny until next week.
Redskins, by the way, trying to continue this trend. Since 2002, we've had one team every year go from worst to first in their division. A win Sunday night, the Redskins would be that team. As for RG3, he threw what proved to be that decisive 22-yard touchdown pass to Santana Moss, giving him his 7th touchdown pass thrown more than 20 yards downfield this season, including his 6th against divisional opponents. This season, he was a perfect 4 for 4 on deep throws against the Eagles. So let's see, we've gotten through the Cowboys, we've gotten through the Redskins. Yes, what about the Giants? Baltimore trying to avoid a 4-game losing streak. A win means they lock up the AFC North for the 2nd straight year. It's already 7-0. Joe Flacco goes deep and hits Torrey Smith, who was brought down at the 1. That's pretty good coverage by Corey Webster.
Yeah, but look at this job by Torrey Smith. They're even here. Watch Torrey Smith climb and stack Webster. That gives Flacco a place to put the football. That is so well done by Torrey Smith. And then it continued. Same matchup again, Trey. Corey Webster, no match for Torrey Smith one-on-one.
Yeah, again, that set up a bunch of scores there. And then Flacco, hey, look, it's Ray Rice, Merrill. Ray Rice, 27 yards over the middle. It's about time they discovered him.
Yeah, didn't they use this a couple of years ago?
Yes.
Great job of getting him out of the backfield. Now, I'm going to just tell you this. Once you get a linebacker's feet parallel, shoulders parallel, you got options. The linebacker needs to work inside, force the back to the outside. Fails to do that, that means Ray Rice can do whatever he wants. We call the jerk route, because now your linebacker feels like a jerk as he's cheating.
By the way, very similar to what we've seen with Darren Sproles sometimes out of the backfield for the Saints.
So.
As for pressure, you bet they applied it. Eli Manning sacked 3 times on the day. It was 33-7, and then Ed Reed was called for a personal foul on this play. It looked pretty clean. It looked like it was to the shoulder.
I don't know that he's defenseless there anymore either.
Also true. 33-14, a big win that Ray Rice knew the Ravens needed.
This was a championship game for us. You know, next week, yeah, we understand what that game is. But this was the championship for us. This was, you know what, solidified a home playoff game. You know, back-to-back, you know, division champs. That's huge around here.
What has happened over the course of the last couple of weeks, very difficult to explain. You know, we have a resounding win against New Orleans and feel real good about ourselves, and then I have no explanation as to why we're in the position that we're in.
A couple weeks ago, 52 points the Giants put up on the Saints. Since then, they've scored 14 points in 2 games.
Okay.
Very simple. Whoever wins the game between the Redskins and the Cowboys, wins the NFC East. The Cowboys take the division if they beat the Redskins. The Redskins clinch the division with a win or a tie. Now, the Giants can't win the division, but they're still in contention for a playoff spot, but they need a lot of help. Merrill, what will be the difference maker in the NFC East?
The difference in who wins the NFC East might come down to defense, and specifically this defense, the Washington Redskins defense. Jim Haslett, their defensive coordinator, has done a great job. No Arakpo, no character, but he's used scheme. Let me show you one of the things they did to fool Tony Romo on Thanksgiving. Now, Tony Romo comes out here and he's like, what do I have here? I look right down here. I got a safety. Boy, I got a safety over here. I got a two deep look. Oh, it looks like man-to-man. London Fletcher on my tight end. I'm going to like that matchup. Well, let's snap the ball. What does he get? At this point right here, Tony Romo is thinking, London Fletcher's man-to-man. They look like they might be bracketing right here. So I go to the top of my screen because I know what I've got here. I got this in-breaking route. I love that, but I want you to watch London Fletcher at the last second. He's going to peel off, and he's going to intercept Tony Romo because of what they gave him pre-snap. Tony doesn't see it till it's way too late, and he throws it right to London Fletcher. Scheme-wise, the way they executed it could be the difference in this one. Jim Haslett, excellent job.
All right, so obviously the Redskins feeling good about themselves with the win. And a lot of Cowboy fans probably watched that game and said, wait a minute, we got down again. Now, granted, we rallied, but it's the same thing. We came up short when it mattered most. You see something different.
Yeah, I do. I see a team that really responded. I mean, think of the sequence that led to them tying the football game. They get a stop, they get a great play on special teams, and then that offense takes over. And that's really what they should feel great about, is the way their quarterback is playing. Tony Romo is playing so well right now, they'll be in every single game. The chemistry he has with Dez Bryant has taken on a whole new, or created a whole new dimension for that offense. We know how he is with Jason Witten. DeMarco Murray is healthy. I think there's a lot to be optimistic about going into this matchup. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, with the way they're playing and then getting RG3 at clearly not 100% as we saw against the Philadelphia Eagles, I know they lost this game. There's some immediate disappointment. I don't even know that Jason Garrett totally understood the scenarios at that point. But this is the best they've been playing all year long, the best chemistry they have on offense all year long. And now it's one game to make it happen.
All right, we'll see what happens. Again, by the way, there is a scenario in which the Redskins can lose that game Sunday night and still make the postseason, provided the Vikings and the Bears lose. Last year was the first time ever in the NFC East it was won by less than 10 games. If the Cowboys beat the Redskins, it would be the second straight year that a 9-7 team would win the NFC East. Lots more coming for you here on NFL Primetime. Does anybody want to play Seattle in the postseason right now?
Nope.
I don't think so. A beatdown of what was supposed to be one of the more physical teams in football in San Francisco. Plus, J.J. Watt and company can still get home field advantage throughout the AFC, but not feeling real good after what happened at home against the Vikings.
Tommy strives to be the best, regardless. People say that he's the best already, been around for a long time, and he still has the passion and the love for the game.
Let's go! Let's go, Nick!
He's just competitive, just a very competitive person.
He's calm, and when your quarterback's calm, it makes you relax.
Brady calling signals, play action fake, fires up the middle, touchdown Aaron Hernandez.
You know you can count on him at all times to get you in the right play, right position.
He's wide open. I mean, how hard is it?
When the game's on the line, fourth quarter, last drive, he's ready and you follow his lead.
One play at a time, huh? Got to put a drive together right here.
When you can get a guy that have all the accolades that he has and still put in the work and the time and the effort, that's leadership itself.
Today at Metropolitan Stadium, the pit yawned invitingly indeed. It was somewhere between wedding weather and that icy ring of which Dante so feelingly spoke. It was, in fact, the kind of weather that Minnesotans find agreeable, the rest of us deplorable. A warm first line of defense is an essential. One group shows King Cole heartiness outside a bus, which proclaims a Norse version of machismo, while another retreats to a camper where winter can only crouch sullenly on the roof. The white and distant sun gets help from small cousins in grates and cages which blaze and sputter helpfully. Viking purple is found on more than fans' noses, and the comestibles are guarded by that Viking leprechaun, the troll. Banners proclaim the availability of liquid mirage for those who need the illusion of warmth, while a friend will rescue those lost in the high passes of the parking lot. Officially, a fan should carry no more than a ticket and a blanket into the cold Coliseum. But to take a thermos from a Minnesota football fan is to ensure his fall before Jack Frost. Once settled in, the football devotee can study his breath pattern or try to hear comments filtered through layers of purple wool. Some fans tend slightly to overflow their allotted space, designed as it was for baseball fans in chinos, minis, and Hawaiian shirts. Unthinkable get-ups today. You find the weather a little severe for watching football?
Just right. Perfect day.
Have you been to all the Minnesota home games?
Every one of them, yes. Never wear gloves either.
Well, I noticed that you're drinking coffee. Do you find it colder than he does?
Not a bit. I think the weather's beautiful.
In the struggle to stay warm, the football fan becomes a bulky unisex figure, rather like a walking bedroll, and hard for a friend or associate to recognize. This is Haywood Hale Broun in many layers and Bloomington, Minnesota.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Bud Light.
We continue here on Primetime. Trey Wingo, Tim Hasselbeck, and Merrill Hodge. Okay, Sunday night, San Francisco went to Seattle, 800 miles away. Mm-hmm. Not quite the road trip they had last week when they had to go 3,100 miles to New England. But you know that feeling where you get the end of the regular season and suddenly there's one team you don't want to play in the postseason?
Yes.
That just might be the Seattle Seahawks. Colin Kaepernick and company walked into a buzzsaw in Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. Early first quarter, no score. Beast mode, Merrill.
Boy, you talk big time. There's a compliment. The offensive line dominated the line of scrimmage, and then the Beast complimented that by finishing the run.
And later, it's Beast Mode, the sequel. Tim?
Yeah, and really Russell Wilson gets through the progression quickly, and that's why he's able to hit the trailer there. Lynch for the touchdown.
All right, by the way, this is called defense. And it was flagged, but that was a perfect hit by Cam Chancellor, right?
Well, I hope it doesn't get fined because it is, but officials see this thing so quick. Right. I understand the flag, but this is what you want to do. Play behind your pad, use your shoulder pad, hit him in the chest, not the head. He may have left his feet a little bit. That may be the only thing. I get what you're saying.
Vernon Davis, by the way, did not return, so that led to a field goal attempt, and suddenly none of the Seahawks were upset about the fact that was a call of penalty because Richard Sherman takes it back the other way for a touchdown. Unbelievable. The third longest return in NFL history. Pete Carroll is fired up. It's 28-6. Wilson to Jonathan Baldwin. That could have been the prime Tim dime.
It could have been because that's great touch on a cold, wet night. That's an excellent throw in the back of the end zone.
35-6. Remember, they've gone 58-50 the last 2 weeks before this, and that's a great throw leading Baldwin. What's wrong with Seattle? They only scored 42. 42-13. By the way, you think maybe, just maybe, San Francisco misses Justin Smith? Didn't play in the second half against the Patriots. They got torched. Didn't play in this game. They got torched. The Seahawks have now outscored their opponents by 120 points over the last 3 games. Tied for the third most dominant stretch in NFL history in terms of scoring margin. You got to go back over 70 years. That's a 7 and a 0 to find NFL teams that had a more dominant stretch. I think we all remember the 41 Bears and the 1921 Buffalo All-Americans. Guys, these are the teams with which we are now comparing the 2012 Seattle Seahawks.
This offense is playing great. We've talked so much about that zone read. Talked about Russell Wilson kind of creating and running around. But how about this guy inside the pocket, Merrill? That's actually what's impressed me the most at what he's been doing. Look at this, in the red zone. The 49ers are going to bring casino blitz, all-out blitz. Watch Russell Wilson. He diagnoses it right away. It's man across the board. He's got double out-breaking routes. Look at the tempo that he's playing with. Knows the ball needs to come out because they're going to lose to the widest defender. And there's a touchdown because the quarterback knows what's happening. Now, how about on the boot fake? Look at this guy from a physical standpoint, not as a runner, but as a thrower. Ahmad Brooks in his face, playing tall off his back foot. That is a big-time throw for the little quarterback. And then on 3rd and 8 from the right hash in bad weather, that thing deserves fire on it. That is an absolute laser from the right hash to the outside to the sideline, driving the ball down the field. Russell Wilson playing well inside the pocket as well, not just as a zone read option runner.
It is the season of giving, and the first gifts your boys should be giving my boys is gifts for allowing you guys to build your offense. I'm talking about Seattle's defense. That is the foundation of this Seahawk team. This offense is doing so well is because of what the Seattle defense has done up front. First of all, dominating a line of scrimmage and the running game. And yes, last night you saw them against the 49ers. They were disruptive at every level. Their running game, the passing game, short, intermediate. Nothing was comfortable for the San Francisco 49ers. And anytime you get turnovers in the red zone, that means big time. Seattle fans need to be extremely excited because you have a very good team. And guess what? Teams win championships, Trey.
Boy, Merrill, no one's going to argue with what we've seen from Seattle the last 4 or 5 weeks. Meanwhile, the Texans had a chance to lock up home field advantage throughout the AFC. Instead, they made it a little more dramatic against Adrian Peterson and company. By the way, Vikings trailing 3-0. Peterson early on, and that's Adrian Peterson. 20-plus yards and a first down, Merrill.
Big time. The path is so important. You're going away to the right. Now, that opens the lanes to the backside because you get a seal here and a seal there, and we have, really, it's an alley and a seal of approval, but a canali and Adrian Peterson through it.
Problem was, for him, there weren't enough canales. 86 rushing yards on the day. Later in the drive, what do we always say about the Vikings? Don't get enough out of the passing game? They got some today. Kyle Rudolph from Christian Ponder, Vikings lead 7-3. Everyone talks about Legatron, the young kicker for the Rams. What about the Blair Walsh Project? 56 yards. That's his 9th field goal of 50-plus yards this season. That is an NFL record. Vikings up 10-3. Thank you very much. Texans down 16-3. J.J. Watt says it's time.
To be a hustle.
That's just pure hustle. Pure hustle, credited with a sack on the play. He's now just 2 shy of Michael Strahan's single-season record. As for the Texans' offense, Arian Foster had to leave the game early due to an irregular heartbeat. He since tweeted, "Everything is fine, I'm okay." Texans play action. Schaub forced to throw it away. It's incomplete. Now it's 2nd and goal. Ben Tate stuffed behind the line. So now it's 3rd and goal for the Texans. Boy, how much do they miss Arian Foster? And Schaub got nowhere to go. Sacked. It is a loss of 14. They have to settle for a field goal. Gary Kubiak says, that's not what we're looking for there. And please, it's the holiday season. Kids are watching. Under 30 seconds left in the quarter, same score. Peterson breaks off 20.
That's beautiful.
But again, held under 100.
Right.
Still over 200 yards away from the record. Vikings with a big win, 23-6. So here's the Adrian Peterson update. He's got 1,898 on the season. He's 102 yards away from becoming the 7th player to hit 2,000 rushing yards. He needs 208 against the Packers in Week 17 to break Eric Dickerson's record. That sounds tough, but he did have 210 against the Packers in Week 13. Look, because of what he's been able to do, most of our focus has been on Adrian Peterson. But you watch that game, Merrill, Vikings defense came to play.
They've been outstanding, really. They had a bump in the road during the year a little bit, but for the most part have been absolutely consistent in every phase. Disruptive in the running game. Once they neutralized the Texans' running game, they made them one-dimensional. And then from there on, in their secondary, their pass rush pressure was outstanding. You can't turn about. We think about one of the great stories in the NFL or a team that was forgotten, really the Minnesota Vikings. Nobody thought they had a chance to be in the playoffs. And now the way they're playing on defense and complementing what they have on offense, I'm sure the Green Bay Packers, they study that coaching tape, are going, oh, man, we got to do this again?
Yeah, and then when you look at the Houston Texans, not that same type of optimism when you look at them in terms of how they're playing. And a lot of that has to do with the way they've given up big plays in the passing game. And people for a long time have been critical of Wade Phillips' defenses because of their inability to have their linebackers get depth and how deep they end up playing their safeties. And when you do that, You give up big plays in the passing game. We saw Christian Ponder able to do that. And Christian Ponder's been struggling recently. And so I think as this team projects forward, they want to do damage in the postseason, not just show up. That ends up being a big factor for them, trying to find a way to shore that up, especially when you face teams that can throw the football effectively.
Listen, Minnesota's got to be feeling real good about themselves, what they were able to do on the road in Houston against the Texans. Here's the problem. I think the Packers are feeling pretty good about themselves, too, especially if you look at what they did to the Tennessee Titans. We thought the Titans' bye week was over. We were wrong. Aaron Rodgers and company flat steamrolled Tennessee. Early and often. 7-0. Rodgers, boy, roll right. We've seen this before.
Yeah, you know what happens? He throws a touchdown.
To Randall Cobb. It is 14-0. Yes, and they're just getting started. It's 27-0. Greg Jennings.
Covering the guy helps.
Yes, that makes it 34-0. Let's see. We've got Cobb. How about James Jones? Let's get him in there. 342 yards, 3 touchdowns, 55-7. Had they kept that 7 off the board late, it would have been the largest shutout win in Packers franchise history.
That's saying something.
Yes, there's a lot of history with that franchise.
Around.
Looking at the NFC playoff picture, 4 spots clinched. Falcons and Packers have clinched their division. Niners, Seahawks are in. Just got to figure out who's a wild card, who's taking the division. Cowboys and Redskins, winner take all for the NFC East. Vikings controlled their destiny for the last spot with the Giants and the Bears still in a position to get into the party. And again, if the Vikings and Bears lose, even if the Redskins lose, they can still get into the playoffs. When we continue, what to make of Mike Smith's Atlanta Falcons, who got their work done early on Week 16, and how good are they? Plus, we've talked about Adrian Peterson's potential records, and we've talked about J.J. Watt's potential records. What about the record that was already been set and the other ones that are on the line?
NCAA is a place where stars are born. A chance to catch the legends of tomorrow, today. And with ESPN America's complete coverage from the regular season through to March Madness and the Final Four, you won't need to wait long for the next big thing. College basketball all season long on ESPN America.
Slot left, down the right side for Cruz, who's got a touchdown! You hear the chant of Cruz.
Cruz, oh my gosh.
Is it really loud on the field?
It's loud. Sometimes I think they record it, sometimes.
Giants fans have good reason to be yelling Victor Cruz's name. His 77-yard game winner against the Redskins was his 7th touchdown of the season. No receiver in the NFL has more, and teammates say he's been just as impressive when no one's there to cheer for him.
The way he treats practice is amazing. He comes out trying to get better. He's trying to give looks. He's throwing. He's talking after plays, figuring out what he could have done to get open.
He never gives up on the play. No matter what it is, if he has the ball, if he don't have the ball.
Cruz's work ethic is also behind his chemistry with Eli Manning, which developed in workouts during last summer's NFL lockout.
Eli called and he was having his, his own kind of thing over at Hoboken High School nearby. And I attended each and every one of those sessions. I made sure I was picking his brain about different things, different routes, different plays, how he likes to throw the ball, where he likes to throw the ball, and I think that really helped us moving forward.
He's a guy who, just because of that work ethic and the way he competes every day, he shows up for game day as well because he's prepared, worked hard during the week to give himself a chance to play at a high level during games.
I think it's my will to win. I think I understand that, your lifespan on this earth isn't very long, so while I'm young and while I can be mobile and while I can run around, I want to make sure that I succeed at everything that I do.
What a day! Look at this!
Championship play right here, fellas.
It's football, baby. Let's make a play.
Takes the shotgun snap, throws it toward the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown!
for the touchdown. Here's Roddy White. Oh, he got a great downfield block. And White's going to go again for his second touchdown. Right. Goes that way for Julio Jones. Did he tap his toes? Yes, touchdown. Flipping it back to Michael Palmer for the touchdown. The Falcons have the best record in the NFC.
Well, in the conclusion to Monday Night Football's regular season, great job by Mike Tirico, John Gruden and company on Saturday. The Falcons took care of business, locking up home field advantage in the NFC. A big part of that success is Matt Ryan, who has stepped up his game this season. Don't you just love those BC quarterbacks, Tim?
They're really good.
He's been off target just 13.4% of the time this season, the best in the NFL. In his previous seasons in the NFL, he'd never been better than 16th. So that is a major jump in the right direction. Time now for the Visa Epic Play, and it's got to go to Megatron. Calvin Johnson broke Jerry Rice's record for the most single-season receiving yards with this catch. He also became the only player with 8 straight 100-yard receiving catches in the NFL. He now has 11, tying Michael Irvin's record, and he has 1,892. He's 108 away from 2,000 receiving yards for the year. Other notable seasonal records set. Andrew Luck broke the record for most passing yards by a rookie quarterback. Jason Witten, as we said, set the record for most receptions by a tight end. And the Blair Walsh Project set the record for the most field goals of at least 50 yards. And oh, by the way, he's an impressive 9 for 9 this season there. When we continue, Denver, it's been a long time since they've lost. Just how long will tell you. And Tom Brady not thrilled with the efforts Sunday in Jacksonville.
Epic Play is brought to you by Visa. Make your season epic with Visa NFL fan offers.
Well, I think what he did last night, Tony, was really special.
He is your starting quarterback.
I know he didn't.
You kicking me out the show? I'll take credit for it if you like.
There they are.
It's got a very interesting situation here.
They may have finally run out of bullets.
He's given it twice now.
And you can pat each other on the back.
Why not have fun?
Because they play with fire.
And Woody's Nuggets with new light.
Don't miss Around the Horn, weekdays on ESPN America.
This game is not fast. This game is faster. Strong is no longer strong. Fast is the new strong. Lungs are jet engines. End zones are scorched. The pocket is collapsing faster. The field just got shorter. The slow lose their lunch. The tortoise never wins. And if you're not faster, someone will let you know.
Packers Giants just drips with history. 1961. It wasn't even Lambeau Field yet. It was Citi Field. Vince Lombardi, Bart Starr, Ron Kramer, and a couple of that's Boyd Dowler, 86. And the Packers won 37-0. Paul Hornung on a weekend leave from the military, 1962. Allie Sherman and the Giants at a frigid Yankee Stadium at home. Jim Taylor, who surpassed Jim Brown as rushing leader that year, he was a man. Carried Giants all over the place. A 7-yard run for a touchdown. Pack win again in 62, 16-7. 10 years ago, different sort of history. Brett Favre, Michael Strahan a sack, which allows him to pass Mark Gastineau for the all-time sack record in a single season. -1 degrees at now Lambeau Field. 4 seconds left in a 2020 game to go to the Super Bowl. Lawrence, wrong times. And now in overtime, Brett Favre's final pass as a Packer was a pick by Corey Webster. And Tynes, it was Party Tynes in overtime. 47-yard field goal. G-Men out of the Super Bowl where they had more miracles in store.
Well, we got one final week of the regular season. Boomer and Company will get you started with Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern. And before you set your fantasy lineups, because some fantasy things are still going, look, it's Tim Hasselbeck, a beacon of light on fantasy football now, 11 a.m. on ESPN2. Hey, this just in. The Broncos won again. Stop me if you've heard this before, because you have.
Did Peyton throw
10 straight
I'm
times.
going to stop you.
That is correct. Okay, then go. You do the highlight.
Peyton Manning, you know how good he is? He's going to find Demaryius Thomas, and look at the ball location in the back of the end zone.
Okay, stop now.
Really good.
I like my job. Well done. Meanwhile, we're not done. Did I hear a Niner on 3rd and 9?
You did.
3rd and 9. It's Eric Decker. Broncos up 14-3. And let's go lather, rinse, repeat to Decker again, shall we? Back in there for his second touchdown of the game, 21-6. Manning, 3 touchdowns, 339 yards, 10th straight win, 34-12. By the way, they haven't lost since October 7th. Here's what's happened since then. The Giants won the World Series. Over a quarter of the NBA season was played. The NHL crushes hope. President Obama was reelected. And most importantly, we all survived the Mayan end of the world apocalypse prediction.
When was that?
All these things have happened since the Broncos last lost a game. The last team to beat them, the New England Patriots in Foxborough. So after losing despite the great comeback against the Niners, Tom Brady and company went to Jacksonville. We're thinking, come on, it's Jacksonville. They were down 10-0 before they knew what hit them. And Brady takes a deep shot. It's intercepted by Derek Cox. Brady, 2 picks in the first quarter. Fourth quarter, Patriots up 16-13. It's Wes Welker for the 2-yard score. He's wicked smart to the end zone, 23-13. Under a minute to play. Jags are still in this thing, 4th and 10. Chad Henne throws one up to Tony Clemens. Makes the great catch. That's a great catch.
Big time.
I mean, keeping it, possession, hits the ground, so they're still in this thing. It's 23-16. Later in the drive, 5 ticks left. Everybody Patrick Chung tonight. Holds it off. Patriots win 23-16. Tom Brady not happy.
Yeah, I mean, we played pretty terrible out there, so came down to the wire, and our defense made some plays, but it was a bad 60 minutes football. Got out-competed out there, out-fought. We're lucky to win.
Well, it's bad when Tom says we got out-fought and his fashion sense wasn't correct. True. Well, it looked fine. He just didn't look as sartoriously splendid as he normally does.
Or you do.
All teams decided, just a matter of seedings in the AFC. Colts and Bengals have cemented their spots in the 5th and 6th seed no matter what happens. As for home field, Texans clinch it with a win. Broncos get it with a win and a Texans loss. The Patriots take it down if they win and the Texans and Broncos both lose. The Ravens will either be the 3rd or the 4th seed. So conceivably, there's a scenario out there in which the Colts could win and hand Peyton Manning home field advantage throughout the AFC, which I enjoy. Time for Fantasy Studs and Duds. Tim, Fantasy Stud.
Fantasy Stud, Des Bryant.
Yeah.
That guy was an absolute beast. 9 catches, 224, 2 touchdowns. That's 34 fantasy points. He's been on fire.
I'm Jamal Charles. I'm still trying to figure out it was only 26 ESPN fantasy points when you have 226. 226? I don't care.
Still got 26 points. Now, you got to be sneaky in your picks. And if you were sneaky enough to take Reggie Bush, he's put up some really good numbers all year long. How about 3 touchdowns and 28 fantasy points for Reggie Bush? Bunches of Reggie Bush touchdowns in English. As for the fantasy duds, Tim?
Let's be a 1 Mike Wallace, and 1 as in 1 reception for 13 yards, which means 1 fantasy point, and -1 yards rushing. For as good a player he is, he's
not good.
Who'd have thunk this? A Matt Schaub probably leading somebody into a championship round and come up with a whopping 7 points.
7 points in total. After the Giants put up 52 points, you probably think if I got Eli Manning or Victor Cruz,
you're good.
I'm in good shape. No. Anybody with the Giants offense, whether it was Eli, Victor Cruz, Martellus Bennett, they really let you down for the 2nd straight week, and fantasy becomes reality for the Giants. They're not producing in fantasy, and the odds are very long against them making the postseason and defending or getting a chance to defend their Super Bowl crown. When we continue here on this edition of NFL Primetime, if you missed one of all the touchdowns scored in Week 16, go nowhere. We will bring it back.
You are watching NFL Primetime, presented by Bud Light.
College basketball triple header live on ESPN America. Merry Christmas from Hawaii. It's the Diamond Head Classic. We've got the 5th place, 3rd place, and championship games on this decisive day. It all starts tomorrow at 22:30 CET, live on ESPN America, the home court of college hoops.
Come on, boys! Let's show them what we got. Bears football!
You're the only 2 teams out there playing.
Here we go, Cowboys!
Every time you play on a Monday night, it's going to be intensified. A lot of guys are real excited to get going.
Hell of a job, every one of you guys.
You know you're on primetime TV, you know you're the only game going, and it's a great environment.
Nothing like playing in it. I mean, that's what you live for.
One play at a time, do it for the guy next to you.
One word to describe Monday Night Football is electrifying. It's your time to shine.
A Cowboy running back scored a touchdown.
Earl Bennett, touchdown Bears!
Monday Night Football is the night that everyone gets to see.
Monday Night Football is where legends are born.
Somebody makes him mad, he's gonna put every ounce of man muscle on the back of your frame.
As a coach, you can't tolerate this behavior.
But I know what I did, and the man upstairs knows what I did.
A little immature as a football team.
I heard that we were a one-trick pony. Well, if we are a one-trick pony, that's one hell of a trick.
The part of him that says, you know what? I could be like the villain.
Not a good idea to make him mad.
What a day! Look at this!
Championship play right here, fellas.
It's football, baby! Let's make a play!
Takes the shotgun snap, throws it toward the end zone. It is caught.
The 5 to the end zone! Touchdown! Good night! Good night to all!
NFL Primetime is presented by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
You know, it is Christmas time, and the gift for all of us is that we get to work together and do this show every week. You played. I didn't play past 7th grade, but I love football as much as anybody else. So be able to do this every week is really a blessing for us. We enjoy doing it. So on behalf of all of us here and all the people you don't see behind the scenes who are much better at their jobs than we are, Merry Christmas, everybody. Our gift to you, all the touchdowns from Week 16. Enjoy them as much as we did. See you later.
We got to be playing like this in the playoffs. It's nice to get a win like this. It was important for us to go out and dominate.
Lead to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Randall Cobb! Juwan Harris around the right side. Cuts it back. Touchdown! Quick toss. Jennings. Touchdown. That was easy. He's got Jones. Touchdown! Ryan Grant blasting. Touchdown! To the end zone. Touchdown! Ryan Grant again! Reggie Bush at the 10-5, dives for the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Miami. Goes to his left, and he gets it in the end zone. Touchdown, Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush, corner of the end zone, makes the catch. Touchdown. It'll be a pick six. Just cause you ain't me, don't hate me. As a matter of fact, you should thank me. Even if you don't, you're welcome, Yankees. Zigga, 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 zow. Who got the keys to the world now? Yours truly. They can't, they won't, they never will. Stop the party. They can't, they won't, they never will. Stop the party.
It's open, has it at the 15. Waltzing in, touchdown, and move over, Mr. Allworth. There is a new owner of a record in San Diego, most touchdowns receiving ever in the history of the franchise. It's Antonio Gates.
I'm Chris McHenry. Here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now. One day after his Colts clinched a playoff spot, Coach Chuck Pagano returned to the team today after his battle with leukemia. He began the first of 3 rounds of chemotherapy on September 26th and took an indefinite leave of absence from the team to fight cancer back on October 1st. The team had gotten off to a 1-2 start. In the time since, his team has gone 9-3 under interim head coach Bruce Arians. The Colts are the 7th team in the common draft era to make the playoffs after selecting the first overall pick in the NFL draft. They also joined the 2008 Dolphins as the 2nd team in history to win 10 games after losing at least 14 the previous year. Some news and notes. Eagles quarterback Nick Foles broke his wrist in the Eagles' loss to the Redskins. Michael Vick likely the starter for the Week 17, the finale against the Giants. Steelers tight end Heath Miller suffered a torn ACL and MCL in his right knee. He's gone for the team's final game. And Matt Forte left the game with an injured ankle but says he will play Sunday at the Lions. I'm Chris McHenry. That's what's happening right now.
Week 16 headlines in the NFL. Colts are in the playoffs a year after going 2-14, clinched a wild card berth Sunday. Welcome back head coach Chuck Pagano from his battle from leukemia on Monday. What a great couple of days. Bengals won at Pittsburgh to clinch a playoff berth and eliminated the Steelers. For the Bengals, it's consecutive trips to the postseason for the first time since 1981-82. Seahawks rolled to their 4th straight win. I mean rolled, whipping the Niners 42-13. Seattle scored 150 points in its last 3 games. Is that good? Winning those contests by an average of 40. The Redskins earned their 6th straight win, setting up next week's battle for the NFC East with Dallas. Even with a loss, the Redskins would still make the playoffs if the Vikings and Bears both lose. And speaking of the Vikings and Bears, they're still alive for a wildcard berth, along with the Giants. Minnesota controls its destiny with a win, and it's fun.